Hello everyone, today we will be learning about counting in chess. So, it is common knowledge that a queen is worth more than a pawn. However, is there a way we can measure this difference? In fact, there is. There is a numerical point value system for each chess piece, and with these piece values, we can determine if we are currently at an advantage or a disadvantage, and we can also calculate whether a sequence of moves is a good or bad idea for us. In chess, the pawns are worth 1 point, the knights and bishops are worth 3 points each, the rooks are worth 5 points, and the queen is worth 9 points. You might be wondering how much a king is worth. Since if you lose your king, you lose the game, the king is essentially worth an infinite amount of points. It is important that you try to remember how much each piece is worth, because counting allows you to better understand your position. The first way counting helps you is that it enables you to determine if your position is currently good or bad. If you have more points than your opponent, then you should be at an advantage, and vice versa. Let's look at this demonstration. In this position, who do you think holds the advantage? To answer that, we can count the material from each side and compare it to figure out. White has taken black's dark square bishop, and black has taken one of white's pawns, as they are missing from both sides. Remember, a bishop is worth 3 points, and a pawn is worth 1 point. So white has taken 3 points, and black has taken 1 point. Therefore, white is at an advantage, because the material he has captured is worth more points than the material that his opponent has captured. Now, let's try this on your own. In this position, who do you think is at an advantage? Pause the video and I will reveal the solution in 3 seconds. Here, it is about equal, and neither side is at an advantage. White has captured both black's dark square bishop and one of his knights, and in return, black has captured one of white's rooks and one of white's pawns. When we refer to the point values of each piece and add them up, we can see that both sides have taken 6 points. The black bishop and knight are worth 3 points each, so 3 plus 3 is 6. And white's rook is worth 5 points, and his pawn is worth 1 point, so 5 plus 1 equals 6. So, both sides have captured an equivalent value of pieces, so neither side has the advantage. It's about equal. Let's practice with a more complicated example. In this position, try to figure out who is at an advantage. Pause the video and I will reveal the solution in 3 seconds. Here, black is at an advantage. Black has taken white's queen and one of white's knights. A queen is worth 9 points and a knight 3 points, so 12 points in total. White has taken both of black's rooks and one of black's pawns, so 5 plus 5 plus 1 equals 11. Black has captured material that is worth more points, so black is at an advantage. You can see how useful counting is, as you are able to evaluate your position and determine if you are at an advantage or a disadvantage. You can also do more stuff with counting. You can use it to make smart choices by calculating if a sequence of moves will favor you or not. To do this, you evaluate the end position of your prepared sequence of moves. If you end up gaining more points than your opponent, then that sequence of moves favors you and you should play it. Vice versa, if you end up gaining less points than your opponent, then you should not play that sequence of moves. Let's look at a demonstration of this. In this position, we have a couple of options, and I will limit it down to 2 choices, and we will use counting to determine which continuation is best for us. Here, We can either take the black knight on e4 with a rook on e1, and black can respond by taking our bishop on b5 with his pawn on a6. Our second option is to first take the knight on c6 with check, so black is forced to take the bishop with his pawn, and then we can take the knight on e4. But which option is best for us? To figure that out, we can use counting. In our first continuation, white takes black's knight, and black takes white's bishop. We know a knight is worth 3 points, and a bishop is also worth 3 points, so each side captures 3 points worth of material, so it's about an equal trade. Let's consider the second line now. In it, white takes both of black's knights, and black takes white's bishop. Since knights and bishops are both worth 3 points, white takes 6 points in total, and black takes only 3. Therefore, using counting, we know that this continuation gives us an advantage, so we should play that line, because we end up gaining more points than our opponent. You can see how useful counting is in comparing different moves and determining which one's best. Now, let's try this. In this position, where should white go? Pause the video and I will reveal the solution in 3 seconds. Here, white can take the pawn on e5. Why? By taking, white ends up a pawn up. A pawn is worth 1 point, so white ends up gaining 1 point, which signals that he gains an advantage and that the move should be played. Following this up, if black tries to recapture the pawn with his knight on c6, white can capture the black knight with his knight on f3. Remember, a knight is worth 3 points, and a pawn is worth 1 point. So, after these two moves, white has gained 3 points, and black has only gained 1 point. By using counting, we can determine that this is bad for black and it favors white. In the second position, should white take the rook on c8 with his queen? Pause the video and I will reveal the solution in 3 seconds. Here, taking the rook on c8 is a good move. After taking the rook on c8, black's a8 rook can take our queen, and our c1 rook can take the black rook on c8. After this continuation, we can see that white has captured both of black's rooks, and black has captured white's queen. Rooks are worth 5 points each, so white has captured 10 points in total, and black has captured 9 points in total, because a queen is worth 9 points. When we compare these with counting, we can see that white has gained more points, so therefore he has gotten a more advantageous position after capturing the rook on c8. So it's a good move and white should play it. Congratulations, you have learned counting. Just a quick recap. Pawns are worth 1 point, knights and bishops 3 points each, rooks 5 points, and the queen 9 points. Thank you for watching.